Well, here is Kathy. I'm still working on her to get it put back together. I've got the flywheel installed again. I got the flywheel key in there in the perfect position. Got the starter cup put back on. The automatic governor is moving free like it should. And now we get to install the carburetor, and I'm going to put a new one on here because I think this is going to be a good engine. It's going to be my guess. Get a little closer where you can see this. So if you guys have watched very of my videos, you know that I like to install the carburetor and the fuel tank as a unit, because it's easier to move and twist and get the carburetor on the automatic governor arm. And I'm gonna, to me this looks like it's been moved where it might run a little too fast. I'm gonna bend that just a little bit. I may come back and move it back, but our new carburetor is here, so let's take it out and take a look at it. There, isn't that pretty? Now, it's important with these new carburetors to go ahead and put the screws in to the carburetor before you mount it. And I like to do that because this is very soft metal, and if you're not careful, you'll cross thread these and ruin them. So excuse me while I block the camera. I need to get two of the little screws that that hold the carb on there. The third one, as you know, goes there, so it's not so critical since that's not aluminum. And let me, I'll try to hold on to this. Usually I use vice grips, but I'm going to grab the head of that and then brush it with a wire brush. Not too hard because it'll come out. And then get my little oiler and put a drop of oil on these threads. Whoa, this thing's coming loose. Put a drop of oil on these threads. Okay, doesn't take much, just a drop. Now I'm going to thread this in, turn this upside down because I don't want the oil to run into that air port there. That's where when you press the primer, that's where the air goes. So I don't necessarily want a bunch of oil going in there. So that's going in there nice and smooth. If I start to feel resistance, that's good. That's normal. Let me get I'll go ahead and get my ratchet and my 5/16 socket. Put that on there. And now I'm going to thread this in even more. I want to go almost all the way down where it's flush. Okay, now I'm getting the ratchets working. Nope, not yet. I don't have enough resistance for the little ratchet to work. There we go. Maybe my Craftsman ratchet wrench is getting worn out. Okay, now it's definitely got enough resistance where it's coming back. Okay, again, I'm going to turn this upside down. Okay. Tell you what, I'll make this quicker for you guys. I'm going to switch to the electric drill. Okay, so that's flush. Now, I'll set this here and I will do the other one. Because these screws get a lot of crud on them. And you're going into very fine threads, and you don't want to cross thread this thing, because then you're not going to get your carburetor to mount right. So I got cleaning my threads. Okay, one little drop of oil here. Oops, right there. Okay, so that's good. And now grab the carburetor again. We're going to do the other side. Now, on some of these carburetors, they're all different, but some of the self-priming carburetors, there's a piece of metal that your screw is going to hit there, and on some of these like this, but don't worry about that. Okay, so they're both flush. No, if you hit that piece of metal, don't worry about it. Just don't grind into it, and mess up your screw threads here. That just means that that's as far as it's going to go in. It's going to seat on that plastic base of the air filter anyway, so it doesn't have to be completely flush. But you do want to get these threads started. Okay, so they're started, and now I need to find my tank. And I gotta put a fuel line on there. Hang on a second. All right, here's some of my fuel line. Let me pick one out here. Got my little hose clamps saved on the end of this one. So let's see, let me cut this end. That's not really straight, so I'm going to go ahead and clip that off, some of it, so it's straight. It's kind of at a slant, so I don't really want that. There's some off. Take a little bit more off. Yeah, it's a little straighter. All right. And so now the question is, what length is this supposed to be? I've saved, so I tore the other one up. I saved some of these old ones just as a measuring device. In case this happens, and it has. So here's one. Here's an old one. And so this is how long I want it to be. I need it to be that long at least. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and clip this now right in there. All right. That's a little straighter cut than usual. I usually mess that up. So let me get a couple of hose clamps off of here and put them on my newly created fuel line. So that's good. They're already gripping, so that's good. It means I have the right size. And there's the other one. Okay. Let me set that aside. Let's put our brand new fuel line on our tank. And it's okay to put a little drop of oil on here, just like the screws, just to help you do things. All right, so that's on there. I kind of rub that around with my finger. Now I'm going to slip this fuel line on here, twist and turn, twist and turn, twist and turn. There we go. Okay, and now I can clip the hose clamp on there. Right There. All right, so we got that. Now we'll do the same thing with our carburetor. Oh, there's some oil there. I think there's some oil. So let me put one little drop of oil here on this, where the fuel goes in and where the hose is going to attach. Kind of rub that around. Now, push that on to the fuel line. Twist it if you have to, that helps you. Okay. And you want the hose clamp in case you need to move it, you know. You want the little ears on that hose clamp facing out towards you. Well, that one's snug. Why is that so snug? Man, I don't like that. Let me get another hose clamp. Let me move this one off here. Okay, I'm gonna take this off now. And see if I can find me another hose clamp. I'll pull one of these off that was on my size sample. It must have been oh, first I need to get that old one off. I don't want to leave that there. All right, so it's in place. Now I put the carb back on and twist that around if you have to. Get the ears of the hose clamps facing you and facing out. There we go. Okay, so that is on. This is kind of slipped off, so I've got to reinstall that. All my twisting and turning. There we go. I'm not happy with that. It's too close to the end. Okay, now I'm gonna push this on. Push that in place. There we go. And now slide this hose clamp down into position. I think these hose clamps may be a little too small, but there we go. That's gonna work. Let me get the ears facing out in case I have to move it. Okay. So what we're gonna do now is see, on these aftermarket carburetors, sometimes that little hole right there is too small to slip onto the governor there. Let me hit this with a brush a few times, see if that'll help. Okay, so you take the tank and the carburetor, you turn it this way, and see if that's going to go on there easily or not. I think it did. Okay, so it did, and make sure it's not binding. No, it's not. It's loose enough. So that's good. Okay, so now that's how it's going to go on. But before I do that, my carburetor came with a replacement gasket for that manifold. Because these things over time, they get kind of crushed and mushed, and the seal is not all that good. So I'm going to take it off, the old one. See how it's really kind of super flat, you know. So I need to find the gasket and everything that came with the carburetor. Where did it go? Let's see. It should be right around here somewhere. Anyway, let me find that, and when you come back, we'll finish this.